إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. All praises are due to Almighty Allah, the beneficent and merciful. We bear witness there is no God to be worshipped except Almighty Allah. And we send our blessing to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whom Allah sent to be mercy to all humanity. My dear brothers and sisters in Islam, my topic to you today, inshallah ta'ala, is about hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the hadith concentrates on why we Muslims should not seek the force of order. We should not pry, we should not snoop to find out the mistakes of others. And the hadith says, and Abi Barzata al-Aslami radiallahu anhu, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يا معشر من آمن بلسانه ولم يدخل الإيمان في قلبه لا تغتابوا المسلمين ولا تتبعوا عوراتهم فإنه من اتبع عوراتهم يتبع الله عورته ومن يتبع الله عورته يفضحه في بيته رواه أبو داود في كتاب العلم. The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ in nutshell is telling us, as reported by Abi Barzata al-Aslami, that the Prophet ﷺ said, Ya ma'ashara man amana bi lisani, those of you who claim to be Muslims, and believe in Allah with your tongue, وَلَمْ يَدْخُلِ الْإِيمَانُ فِي قَلْبِهِ, and the faith has not germinated in your heart, which means we believe as Muslim, but we are not moving yet. The Prophet ﷺ is addressing us saying, لَا تَقْتَابُوا, do not backbite. Do not say something behind your brothers or sister back. وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا عَوْرَاتِهِمْ, and don't follow their mistakes. Don't find out what are their mistakes. لَا تَتَّبِعُوا عَوْرَاتِهِمْ فَإِنَّهُ مَنِ اتَّبَعَ عَوْرَاتِهِمْ يَتَّبِعُ اللَّهُ عَوْرَتَهُ. He who follows the faults of others, the mistakes of others, searching out why are these people doing what they are doing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, يَتَّبِعُ اللَّهُ عَوْرَتَهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will follow his own mistakes. وَمَنْ يَتَّبِعُ اللَّهُ عَوْرَتَهُ, and he whom Allah follows his mistake, يَفْضَحُهُ فِي بَيْتِهِ. Allah will expose him in his own house. My brothers and sisters in Islam, this hadith actually is teaching us, as Islam is a religion of faith and action. It's a very beautiful religion. It's a very nice religion, but we have to live it out in our life. To say that I'm a Muslim is just not enough. I'm a Muslim, you are a Muslim, then we have to carry it out a little bit better and actually practice it in our daily life. And subhanAllah, this is not we alone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us a long time ago. وَقَالَتِ الْعَرَبُ آمَنَّا. The Bedouin came to the Prophet and said, we are true believers. You are not true believers. Until Iman goes into your heart. When the faith goes into your heart and it germinates there, then you can call yourself a true Muslim. And we see too, people today say, oh, we are Muslim, and they are claiming that by being Muslims, they are doing favor for us. You know, some people say, oh, I'm a Muslim, and they think they are doing Islam for us. Well, brothers, you are not doing Islam for me, you are not doing it for any Imam, you are doing it for yourself. When Iman enters into your heart, it means anything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told you to do, you are going to do it. Anything that the Prophet ﷺ asks you to follow, then you are ready to follow it. But if Iman is not in your heart yet, وَلَمْ يَدْخُلِ الْإِيمَانُ فِي قَلْبِهِ, and Iman is not in your heart yet, then you do whatever you want to do. But you remain as a Muslim, not a mu'min. And in that sense, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through the Prophet is telling us that one of those things we have to do as Muslims and to refrain from is to not to continuously seeking the faults of others, searching the fault of others. When we do that, then we are doing something great to mistake. And Quran also said, وَلَا تَقْتَرُوا وَلَا يَقْتَرْ بَعْضُكُمْ بَعْضًا أَيُحِبُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَنْ يَأْكُلَ لَحْمَ أَخِيهِ مَيْتًا. So do not backbite one another. And the Prophet ﷺ, according to the Quran, saying to us, do you want to eat the flesh of your brothers alive? And everybody says, no, we are not going to do that. He said, when you are backbiting, then you are actually eating the flesh of your brother as if you are eating it alive. So therefore, the Prophet ﷺ is saying to us, we should not backbite and we should not follow the faults of others. And the taqwil awrad is to see what is my brother or sister doing wrong. SubhanAllah. Here in the United States, they call it praying, and they call it snooping, and they call it weatherproofing. Weatherproofing is say, oh, we're now in summer. Then you come to this house, oh, let us clean the AC, so that when the summer comes, then we are going to have something better. This is called tatabbul awrad, weatherproofing. And why we are doing that? Because we want to fix something. When I begin to see my brother, he's doing this one right, he's doing this one wrong, what is my intention? I want to fix him. What that entails is saying to him that, I know what is better and he doesn't know what is better. In our local language or in our daily language, is to say to somebody, brother, your coat is not well ironed, your suit is not well ironed. Well, it seems that we are saying something good to him, but the reality is that we are going to say to him, I know how you can do it well, but the way you do it is not right. Oh, that's why my brother organized a party for us, a meeting for us, and then say, oh, this party is not well organized. And the question is there only one way of organizing a party? And the answer is no, there's so many ways of organizing a party. So when I'm saying to him, the way you do it is not good enough, I'm saying to him that I know how you can do it better. And Islam is saying to us, why are you so concerned about the mistakes of others? Why don't you be so concerned about your own mistakes? Why are you not seeking what are the things that as a Muslim I'm doing wrong and correct yourself rather than following others and say, what are they doing wrong? So the Prophet ﷺ says, La tattabi'u awratin, don't follow the mistakes of others. Now, when we do that, what are the evils of searching for the faults of others? What is happening is that getting others angry. When you begin to follow others to find out their mistake, guess what? We are going to find something. Same thing in our family. I have a wife, my wife is there. If I begin to see, what is this sister doing wrong? I believe it or not, within a week I find so many mistakes that she's doing wrong. If she continues to say, what is my husband doing wrong? She's going to find out. Because we live together, we dine together, we sleep together. To find my mistake is very easy for him or for her. So therefore, one of those things that this searching for the mistake of others does, it gets your partners to be so angry. Then it's implication that, I'm so concerned about you, and the question is, am I truly so concerned about you, or I'm just prying on you? And the answer is not so much. If you're so concerned about me, there's a better way of correcting me when I do some mistakes. There's a better way of correcting me when I do some mistakes. Another thing is to spread evils about others. Somebody comes to us and said, this brother said, well, not too late. You remember some time ago he did ABC, he did that, he does that. And the question is, when somebody is praising somebody in front of me, why do I have to pinch in and say, no, it's not as like that, it's worse than what you are saying. Allah Akbar. The question is, what's your business? Why are you labeling him? Why are you labeling her? Why are you saying something bad about him or about her? Another implication of that is to unconsciously telling others that we are better than them. And Quran is saying, وَلَا تُزَكُّوا أَنفُسَكُمْ هُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِمَنِ اتَّقَى. Even if you're a practical Muslim and you are doing your best, don't go around and say, I'm the best of the Muslim. Allah knows who actually is the best Muslim. And Quran, as we read every day, we pray every day, Sami Allahu liman hamida. Allah knows who is praising Him, and He knows who is worshiping Him truly. So, once again, we are doing all these evil things because we want to impress on the people that we are better than them. What will happen to us when we continue to find fault with others? The hadith is telling us, لا تتبع عوراتهم. If you follow their mistakes, يتبع الله عورتك. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will follow your own mistakes. وَيَفْضَوْهُ فِي بَيْتِهِ, and He will expose your mistakes. And subhanAllah, brothers, we do so many things, nobody knows about it except Almighty Allah. If Allah were to expose us of what we are doing privately, nobody will like one another. How many times, subhanAllah, I kissed you, I hugged you, and my heart is saying to hell with you. If Allah were to expose that to this person I'm hugging, then what will happen? People say to him, sorry, why are you hugging me? They say, God calls you. Subhanallah. So therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is capable of exposing our own mistake in our own house. So in order not to fall into that, the Prophet said to us, don't follow the mistakes of one another. Also, when Allah exposes one mistakes, we fall into problems. When Allah exposes you, then we fall into many problems. I remember as a teacher in school, there was a professor who was very known and always criticizing one another. Always criticizing one another. And people are looking and say, how are we going to convince this person that what he's doing is not right? Then accidentally, one day, for one reason or the other, and this our colleagues and attorneys say, how could somebody like him, professor, do something like that? I think he was pressed to pee. Then he peed in the hallway, and there was a camera. Then the camera picked up, and then the chancellor said, and they fired him. And he used to say anything bad about all others. Now, something very small, and I know for sure maybe he was totally pressed, or maybe at times you go to the restroom and those people are cleaning out there, and they say no entry now. Maybe because of that he did what he did, and then the camera caught him, and then he was fired because of that. Never think that Allah is not capable of holding us responsible for what we are doing. If you expose the mistakes of others, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is capable of exposing our own mistake. Now, when Allah exposes you, there's nobody to cover you up, and no escape whatsoever. No escape whatsoever. Subhanallah. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect every one of us and to be with us in everything that we do. So we should not do that. Now, another thing which is also very interesting is that when people know that we are following their mistakes, then what happens to us? They lose trust in us. They don't like us anymore. And they do not trust us anymore. And then they say to the people, mind this person. Listen, you're sitting now, but when we leave here, he's going to tell everybody what happens, he's going to tell everybody what takes place, and then be cautious of him or her. And that is one of the bad things that could happen to human beings, that when you reach somewhere, and people are very cautious of you because they think you're going to harm them, you're going to say something bad about them. And hence, people will run away from you. People will run away from you. Now, this is what is happening. What should we do then to amend this attitude? The first thing we have to do is to stop preying on others. Stop prying on others. Stop following the mistakes of others. When you do something and you think this one is not so good, then you have the right to correct them in a very subtle way so that you do not expose them. Why don't you call him beside and say, brother, I think this is not absolutely right, and I think this is the best way to do it. You and him or you and her alone, without anybody there. So when you do that, guess what? He's going to thank you for your correction and he's going to take it to heart. But when you do that publicly, then he's going to be so angry about you. Another way to stop that is to be concerned of our own mistakes. An Arab says, ترى القضاء في عين أخيك. This at times our eyes is bleeding or something, then everybody can see that. But you do not see your own mistakes. So therefore, why don't you so concerned about your own faults, about your own mistake? And if you do that, then we are going to be better off, inshallah. Another solution to this problem, to seek forgiveness from Allah, to actually help us overcome our shortcomings and our own mistakes. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you pray to Him, then definitely it's going to help us out. And finally, to develop positive attitudes about others. What happens to us, and we see that in our community, we say, oh, is this woman is Sunnah very well? Is she Jamaat Tabligh? Is she actually Ahlul Sunnah or is not Ahlul Sunnah? And the question is, what's your problem? Whether he's Ahlul Sunnah is not Ahlul Sunnah, what's your problem? You live your Islam, you practice your Islam, and you leave him alone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is capable of addressing whatever he is going through, and if you see any bad things about him, then cover it up. And when you do that, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to help you. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المؤمنين إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Brothers, at times when we read something like this about hadith, brothers, they remind us to say, is the Prophet ﷺ not telling us, "Man ra'a minkum munkaran falyughayyirhu biyadihi," that if any one of you sees something wrong, he can correct it with his hand. If that is not possible, he can correct it with his mouth. If that is not possible, he can correct it with his heart. And the answer, they are totally different things. So when I say something wrong in you, I'm not following your mistakes. I'm not following your mistake. It happens that you do something wrong, and then I say, brother, this is not good enough. That is not the tabul awrat. It's not following your mistake or your faults. When you see something, when you see something terrible about Muslim, about Islam, then have the intention of putting them aright. And the Prophet ﷺ gave you three choices. If you are capable of correcting it with your hand, then you correct it with your hand. If you are not able to do that, then you correct it with your mouth. You speak out, or you write about it, which is possible nowadays. Then, if that is not possible, then you pour it in your heart. You say, my heart is like this thing, even though I cannot say it now, but I don't like what he or she is doing. That is totally different from the hadith of following the force of others. And we have to be very, very cautious of that, inshallah ta'ala. So this is not a license for us that we should never correct anybody. No, we can correct people in a very nice way. And the Prophet ﷺ is the best person when it's come to ethics of correction. And inshallah ta'ala, I will be speaking to you in the future about ethics of correction. And I give you one example. And many of you knew that they said that somebody peed in the mosque and then everybody jumped on him. And the Prophet ﷺ didn't say, why do you do that? Why do you pee here? Why don't you go out? Why? And then he said, this place of worship, this mosque, is not a place of urination. Next time when you want to pee, you go out. And that person was so happy, he said, oh Allah, Muhammadan, what I tell Muhammad? Oh Allah, bless Muhammad and never bless anybody else with him. And guess what? The Prophet ﷺ, you have limited the mercy of Almighty Allah. If Allah blesses me, I want Allah to bless all others. So that is totally different from when I follow you all say, doing this, and what do you say? And subhanAllah, for one reason or the other, once in a while, each one of us is doing that. What the hadith is saying, let us be conscious of our attitude, let us be conscious of what we are doing, and if it is something good, we continue to do it. If it is something bad, then we refrain from doing it. Because as a good Muslim, we should always try to do good things all the time. And the more we do good things, the more Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to help you. And that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that Allah sent to you, He sent him to you to take you out of darkness, to take you out of darkness in terms of behavior, in terms of bad things, either no, to bring you to the light of Islam. And the light of Islam is to be very clear and very ascertain of what you are doing, that it is correct. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be with every one of us and to enable us to be a good Muslim in saying, in action, and in our attitude, so that we can be good example, good ambassador to all of us. And brothers, as I mentioned to you several times, whatever we are doing, we should not assume that nobody is seeing us. We are mirrors to others. If you are doing something now and you say nobody's there, you can just cheat or you can say anything, guess what? The minute you put this kufi on, the minute you know that you're Muslim, they watch you day and night. So try to be a good ambassador of Islam. And that will not happen until we actually internalize Islam and we put it in our life and we practice whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to practice and get away from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us not to do, inshallah ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be with us, inshallah ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect all our brothers and sisters in Gaza. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect all our brothers in Sudan and wherever they are, inshallah ta'ala. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما كثيرا. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.